Welcome back to our channel. Today we delve into the fascinating yet tumultuous life of Loretta Lynn, the coal miner's daughter who rose from the humble hills of Butcher Hollow, Kentucky, to become the undisputed queen of country music. Known for her powerful voice, raw storytelling, and boundary-pushing lyrics, Loretta was a trailblazer in every sense of the word. But behind the glitz and glamour of the spotlight lay a darker narrative of personal struggles, controversial battles, and unimaginable resilience. From a childhood steeped in poverty to her hard-fought rise to stardom, and from scandalous headlines to heartfelt triumphs, Loretta's story is as extraordinary as it is inspiring. Join us as we uncover the untold truths behind her remarkable journey in the dark side of Loretta Lynn's rise to fame. Childhood and family. Loretta Lynn's story begins in the small, rugged community of Butcher Hollow, Kentucky, where she was born as Loretta Webb on April 14, 1932. The eldest daughter and second of 8 children, Loretta grew up in a family steeped in hard work and resilience. Her parents, Clara Marie Clary Rye and Melvin Theodore Ted Webb, faced the harsh realities of poverty with determination. Ted, a coal miner and subsistence farmer, worked tirelessly to provide for his growing family in a region where survival itself was an accomplishment. This laborious life shaped not just Loretta's character, but also the stories that would later define her legendary music career. The Webbs proudly claimed Cherokee heritage through Loretta's mother, a connection that added a layer of pride and identity to their lives, even though it was never formally acknowledged by the Cherokee Nation. This unverified heritage, however, symbolized the deeply rooted sense of history and belonging that Loretta carried with her. It's a subtle thread in her life story, connecting her humble beginnings to a broader cultural identity, even as she sought to find her own voice in a world that often sought to silence those from backgrounds like hers. Life in Butcher Hollow was far from easy. Loretta's childhood was marked by profound scarcity. The family lived in a one-room cabin without electricity or plumbing, finding creative ways to survive. Loretta's family used creative ways, like pasting catalog pages on walls, to survive harsh conditions. Loretta didn't even ride in a car until she was 12 years old, a moment that likely felt monumental in her isolated world. As a child, her dresses were sewn from flour sacks, a practice common in Depression-era America. But what could have been a source of embarrassment became a badge of her resourcefulness, a recurring theme in her life. By the time Loretta turned 11, the family achieved what seemed like a major milestone. They moved into a 4-room house. For a family that had grown accustomed to squeezing into a single drafty room, this was a luxury. It also marked the first time Loretta slept in a real bed, rather than on the floor. Such a simple upgrade may seem trivial to many, but for Loretta, it was a formative moment, underscoring the idea that even the smallest steps forward could feel monumental. These humble beginnings planted the seeds of resilience and hope that would fuel her future successes. While the physical circumstances of her childhood painted a picture of hardship, it's important to understand the broader context of her life. Butcher Hollow wasn't just a place of poverty, it was a tight-knit community that valued family, faith, and storytelling. The rhythms of Appalachian life, from the coal mines to the folk traditions, shaped Loretta's understanding of the world. These elements later became the foundation for her music, as she transformed her struggles into relatable, heartfelt lyrics that resonated with millions. Even in her earliest years, there was a spark in Loretta that hinted at the extraordinary life she would lead. She wasn't just a product of her environment. She was someone who would use those hardships as a springboard for greatness. Her story proves that even when life seems confined to the boundaries of a remote hollow, dreams can take you far beyond what seems possible. Loretta's ability to rise above her humble beginnings wasn't just a testament to her talent, it was a reflection of her unyielding spirit and determination to make her mark on the world. Early career and rise to fame. Loretta's journey to fame started humbly, performing in small local clubs in the late 1950s. These were modest venues where the air smelled of sawdust and cigarettes, and the audience often consisted of locals who had no idea they were witnessing the birth of a future country music legend. But even then, Loretta's voice had a magnetic pull. It wasn't just her talent that set her apart. It was the raw, unfiltered emotion she poured into every song. Fans often describe her early recordings as pure storytelling, where every lyric felt like a window into her soul. With her brother Jay Webb by her side, Loretta formed her first band, the Trailblazers. It was a humble beginning, but it carried the energy of something destined for greatness. Fans of Loretta often look back on this period with awe. As one admirer wrote on Twitter, "To think she started in tiny clubs and made it to the Grand Ole Opry. It's the kind of story that gives me chills." Media outlets, too, have praised her early determination. One article from Billboard described her performances as a mix of heartfelt passion and unmistakable grit that could captivate any room, no matter how small. Her big break came in what could only be described as a storybook moment. Loretta entered a televised talent contest hosted by country music legend Buck Owens. This wasn't just an opportunity. It was a stage where her voice could finally reach beyond the small town she'd performed in. Her performance dazzled audiences and left an impression on none other than Norm Burley, a Canadian music enthusiast. Burley was so struck by her raw talent that he co-founded Zero Records with the sole purpose of signing Loretta. Reflecting on this moment, one fan commented on a YouTube documentary, "Norm saw in Loretta what the world would soon see, a once-in-a-generation talent who just needed a platform." Loretta's first recordings were nothing short of groundbreaking. In Hollywood, she laid down tracks for "I'm a Honky Tonk Girl," a song that would change the trajectory of her life. This song was Loretta's way of telling the world, "Here I am," recorded with her signature sincerity and a touch of grit. The track showcased her ability to turn everyday struggles into something relatable and moving. Fans instantly connected with the song. One listener wrote in the comments section of her video, "The first time I heard this song, it was like she was telling my own story. That's Loretta for you. Always real, always raw." But Loretta didn't wait for the world to come to her. Alongside her husband, Doolittle Do Lynn, she hit the road, determined to share her music with anyone who would listen. Picture this, a young couple driving across the country, records in the trunk, stopping at every radio station they could find. Loretta would perform live on air, charming DJs and listeners alike. It was a grassroots effort, fueled by sheer determination. The couple often slept in their car to save money, a detail that resonates deeply with her fans. A popular comment on a Facebook post about this time reads, "That's the kind of hustle that makes her a legend." Loretta and Do were unstoppable. Their hard work paid off. "I'm a Honky Tonk Girl" climbed to number 14 on the Billboard Country and Western chart, a milestone that marked Loretta's official breakthrough. The song wasn't just a hit. It was proof that her authenticity and hard work could resonate on a national scale. The media quickly took notice. Rolling Stone magazine later reflected, "With nothing but a dream and a voice, Loretta Lynn carved her way into country music history, one radio station at a time." Music career milestones. Her early success in local clubs set the stage for what would become one of the most transformative careers in country music history. Loretta Lynn's career in the 1960s wasn't just a rise to fame, it was a revolution in country music, a bold declaration that women's voices deserved to be heard, not just in song, but in truth. Hits like You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man and Don't Come Home a-Drinkin' with Lovin' on Your Mind catapulted her to stardom. But they did more than top charts. They spoke directly to the struggles and triumphs of women everywhere, making Loretta not just a star but a trailblazer. When You Ain't Woman Enough came out, it became an anthem. Its bold lyrics about standing up to a romantic rival struck a chord with women everywhere. One fan on Twitter remarked, "This song wasn't just about relationships, it was about knowing your worth." Loretta made us feel powerful. The media also celebrated the song, with Rolling Stone later naming it one of the greatest country songs of all time. Critics highlighted how it gave a voice to women who had rarely been represented so directly in country music. Then came Don't Come Home a-Drinkin' with Lovin' on Your Mind, which shook the foundations of traditional country music themes. At a time when women were expected to keep their struggles behind closed doors, Loretta sang openly about the toll of alcoholism on relationships. The song's straightforward honesty was groundbreaking and turned heads both on and off the charts. While some radio stations initially hesitated to play it, fans rallied behind the song, calling it a bold and necessary message. A Facebook user commented, "Loretta wasn't afraid to say what we were all thinking. She made us feel seen when nobody else did." The 1970 release of Coal Miner's Daughter took Loretta's career to an entirely new level. This autobiographical ballad was more than a song. It was a story, a vivid painting of her humble beginnings in Butcher Hollow, Kentucky. Its heartfelt lyrics about poverty, family, and resilience struck a chord with listeners from all walks of life. One fan wrote on Instagram, "Every time I hear Coal Miner's Daughter, I cry. It reminds me of my parents and where we came from. Loretta made us proud of our roots." The success of Coal Miner's Daughter extended far beyond the music charts. It inspired a best-selling autobiography and an Oscar-winning film starring Sissy Spacek, whose portrayal of Loretta earned widespread acclaim. Fans packed theaters to see her story unfold on the big screen, and the movie became a cultural phenomenon. As one viewer commented under the film's trailer on YouTube, this wasn't just a movie. It was a tribute to every hard-working family out there. Loretta's life is proof that you can rise above your circumstances. But what truly set Loretta apart during this era was her fearless approach to tackling taboo subjects. She didn't shy away from controversy. Instead, she leaned into it, using her platform to address issues most artists wouldn't touch. Songs like Rated X, which confronted the stigma around divorced women, and The Pill, which celebrated the freedom brought by birth control, were groundbreaking. While both songs faced bans from conservative radio stations, they found immense support among her fans. A viral tweet once said, "Loretta Lynn was banned from the radio more times than I can count, but that's because she was speaking the truth, and the truth is powerful." Loretta's fans weren't the only ones who admired her boldness. The press often hailed her as a pioneer. One article in the New York Times described her as a fearless voice for women in a world that often wanted them silent. The impact of her music was undeniable, and even today modern artists cite her as a key influence in breaking barriers in the music industry. And then there were her unforgettable duets with Conway Twitty. Together they created magic on stage and in the studio, delivering hits like After the Fire Is Gone and Louisiana Woman, Mississippi Man. Their chemistry was undeniable, and fans loved the playful dynamic they brought to their performances. One admirer on Instagram wrote, "Loretta and Conway weren't just singing, they were telling love stories, and we were all lucky enough to listen." The duo's success wasn't just limited to chart-topping hits. They earned multiple awards, including several CMA Vocal Duo of the Year honors, and their collaborations became a defining feature of country music in the 1970s. Critics praised their ability to convey the complexities of relationships through song, and their impact on the genre remains unparalleled. Personal life and marriage. Loretta Lynn's marriage to Doolittle Do. Lynn was as much a part of her story as her music, a tale of love, struggle, and unwavering partnership that spanned nearly 50 years. Their union began when Loretta was just 15 years old, a young girl from Butcher Hollow, with dreams still hidden beneath her daily struggles. Do, a man of ambition and strong will, became both the driving force behind Loretta's rise and the source of some of her deepest challenges. From the start, Do recognized Loretta's extraordinary talent. He believed in her, even when she didn't believe in herself, famously buying her a $17 guitar and encouraging her to start writing songs. This small gesture turned out to be monumental, sparking a career that would forever change the face of country music. Fans often reflect on this moment as the beginning of something magical. One admirer wrote on Twitter, "If Do hadn't bought her that guitar, who knows if we'd ever have gotten the Loretta Lynn we know and love today." But their marriage was far from a fairy tale. Do's infidelity and battle with alcoholism tested their marriage, but Loretta didn't shy away from the truth, often sharing their struggles in interviews and her books. Her honesty resonated with fans, many of whom saw their own lives reflected in hers. A YouTube commenter once wrote, "Loretta's marriage wasn't perfect, and she never pretended it was. That's what makes her so relatable. She's real." Even with their struggles, Loretta called Do her biggest support. He was the one who pushed her to chase her dreams, even when the odds seemed insurmountable. In her own words, "Do was my biggest fan and my biggest critic, all rolled into one. He knew how to get the best out of me." Their relationship, as fiery as it was supportive, became the inspiration for many of Loretta's most iconic songs. Tracks like Fist City and You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man were born out of her personal experiences, transforming her marital struggles into anthems of strength and self-respect. Fans embrace these songs wholeheartedly, seeing them as empowering messages for women. One fan tweeted, "Loretta Lynn wasn't just singing about her life, she was singing about ours. She gave women the strength to stand up for themselves." Media outlets also praised her ability to turn her personal challenges into art, with Rolling Stone calling her the queen of turning pain into power. Together, Loretta and Do raised 6 children, building a family while navigating the pressures of fame. Their lives were marked by both joyful milestones and heartbreaking losses. In 1984, their son Jack Benny tragically drowned while crossing a river on horseback at the family's ranch in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. Decades later, in 2013, their eldest daughter Betty Sue passed away due to complications from emphysema. These losses deeply affected Loretta, but they also strengthened the bond she shared with her remaining family. A fan once commented on Facebook, "Through all the heartbreak, Loretta stayed strong. She's an example of resilience for all of us." Despite the ups and downs, Loretta and Do's love endured until his passing in 1996. Their nearly 5-decade-long marriage was described by Loretta as the hardest love story. It was a relationship built on fiery passion, mutual support, and an unbreakable commitment to each other. As one fan wrote on Instagram, "Their love wasn't perfect, but it was real. That's what makes it so inspiring." The media often celebrated their partnership as a testament to the complexities of love. People magazine once wrote, "Loretta and Do's story was as raw and honest as her music, a love that survived storms and stood the test of time." Fans around the world admired Loretta's ability to share her story so candidly, turning even the most painful parts of her life into something relatable and inspiring. Even after Du's death, Loretta's love for him never faded. In 2000, she released Still Country, an album that included the deeply personal tribute song, I Can't Hear the Music. The song's poignant lyrics captured her longing and loss, moving fans to tears. As one listener shared in a YouTube comment, "You can hear the love and pain in every word. Loretta's heart is in that song." Achievements and legacy. Loretta Lynn's career is the epitome of a rags to riches story, but it is also so much more, a tale of breaking barriers, transforming an industry, and leaving an undeniable legacy that will continue to inspire generations. Among her many remarkable achievements, Loretta made history by becoming the first woman to win the CMA Entertainer of the Year award in 1972. This wasn't just a victory for her, it was a monumental step forward for all women in country music. Fans were ecstatic, with one newspaper headline reading, "The Queen of Country breaks the glass ceiling." Social media, even decades later, still buzzes with admiration for this accomplishment. One viral tweet summed it up perfectly. Loretta didn't just make history, she made the impossible seem possible for women everywhere. Being named Entertainer of the Year wasn't just an award, it proved Loretta's unmatched ability to connect with fans through her music. Her songs resonated with fans in ways few artists could achieve. Her authenticity, her storytelling, and her fearlessness made her not just a musician, but a voice for the voiceless. Fans at the time flooded her with letters of congratulations, and her acceptance speech became an iconic moment. In it, Loretta humbly thanked the fans who stood by her, saying, "This is for all the women out there who work as hard as I do." But this was just one milestone in a career full of groundbreaking moments. Over her decades-long journey, Loretta released more than 70 albums, an incredible feat by any standard. These weren't just records, they were chapters of her life, each one offering a glimpse into her struggles, triumphs, and observations about the world around her. Songs like "The Pill," "Coal Miner's Daughter," and "You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man" didn't just top the charts, they started conversations. Fans loved Loretta for her courage to address topics that many shied away from. "The Pill," a song celebrating the freedom and empowerment brought by birth control, was particularly groundbreaking. Though it was banned on several radio stations, fans rallied behind her. One comment on YouTube reads, "Loretta wasn't just singing for herself. She was singing for every woman who wanted to take control of her own life." Media outlets also praised her boldness, with Rolling Stone calling her the voice of a movement disguised in a honky-tonk melody. Her induction into the Country Music Hall of Fame in 1988 was another moment of triumph. It was a celebration not just of her music, but of her role as a trailblazer. The ceremony was filled with heartfelt tributes from fellow artists who credited Loretta for paving the way. One younger country star remarked during the event, "There's not a stage I stand on where I don't feel Loretta's influence." Fans shared in the celebration, with thousands gathering outside to cheer for the woman who had become a symbol of resilience and strength. In 2004, Loretta once again proved her versatility with the release of Van Leer Rose, a collaboration with Jack White of the White Stripes. This unexpected partnership blended Loretta's traditional country roots with White's edgy rock sound, creating an album that was both innovative and deeply authentic. The media couldn't get enough, with outlets like Spin and Pitchfork hailing it as a modern masterpiece. It went on to win 2 Grammy Awards, including Best Country Album, further solidifying Loretta's status as a genre-defying legend. Jack White spoke often about his admiration for Loretta, calling her a true artist who was never afraid to take risks. Fans of all ages fell in love with the album, with many younger listeners discovering Loretta for the first time. One fan tweeted, "I grew up listening to Jack White, but Van Leer Rose made me fall in love with Loretta Lynn. She's the real deal." Loretta's storytelling didn't stop at her music. Her autobiographies, Coal Miner's Daughter and Still Woman Enough, became instant bestsellers, offering fans a candid look into her life. These books were more than just memoirs. They were testaments to her honesty, humor, and grit. Readers were moved by her willingness to share her struggles, from growing up in poverty to navigating the challenges of fame. One Goodreads reviewer wrote, "Reading Loretta's memoir felt like sitting at her kitchen table, listening to stories that made you laugh, cry, and feel inspired." The release of Coal Miner's Daughter as a major motion picture only amplified her influence. The 1980 film, starring Sissy Spacek, was a box office smash and earned Spacek an Academy Award for her portrayal of Loretta. Fans packed theaters, many of them seeing their own stories reflected in Loretta's journey. As one moviegoer commented, "It wasn't just a film, it was a love letter to working-class families and the power of dreams." Even in her later years, Loretta continued to captivate audiences. She released albums, performed at festivals, and remained a beloved figure in country music. Her fans, both old and new, admired her for staying true to her roots while continuing to evolve as an artist. One fan on Instagram summed it up perfectly. "Loretta Lynn isn't just a legend. She's a symbol of strength, authenticity, and the power of music to change lives." Health challenges and passing. Loretta Lynn's later years are a testament to her incredible strength, resilience, and enduring connection with her fans. Even as she faced significant health challenges, her determination to continue creating and sharing her music never wavered. In 2017, Loretta suffered a stroke at her beloved ranch in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee, a moment that shocked the country music world. Fans from around the globe flooded social media with prayers, well wishes, and tributes, showing just how deeply they cared for the queen of country music. One fan tweeted, "Loretta Lynn has given us her heart and soul for decades. Now it's time for us to send her all the love in the world." The stroke limited her ability to perform and tour, but Loretta didn't let that stop her. She began a long journey of recovery, proving once again why she was a symbol of strength and perseverance. Despite her physical challenges, she remained connected to her fans, often sharing updates through her social media accounts. A Facebook post from her team after her stroke read, "Loretta's heart is as strong as ever, and she's determined to keep doing what she loves, making music and connecting with all of you." This message brought comfort to her fans, who admired her fighting spirit. Just a year later, in early 2018, Loretta faced another hurdle when she fractured her hip in a fall at her ranch. For many, this would have been a reason to step away from the spotlight, but not for Loretta. Even as her physical mobility became more limited, her creative spirit burned brightly. She continued to write, record, and share her music with the world, reminding everyone why she had earned her place as a country music legend. One fan shared on Instagram, "Loretta Lynn is the definition of unstoppable. Even when life knocks her down, she finds a way to get back up." In 2018, Loretta released her much-anticipated album, Wouldn't It Be Great? Though delayed due to her health challenges, the album became a deeply personal reflection of her life, blending new songs with reimagined classics. Tracks like the emotional title song in Coal Miner's Daughter, Recitation, gave fans a window into Loretta's heart. Critics praised the album, with Rolling Stone calling it a poignant farewell from a woman who has lived, loved, and fought for every note she's ever sung. Fans were equally moved. One YouTube comment on the album's official playlist read, "Every word feels like Loretta is sitting right there with us, telling her story one last time. She's not just singing, she's pouring her soul into every note." The album was a reminder of her enduring ability to connect with listeners, no matter the obstacles she faced. Sadly, on October 4th, 2022, Loretta Lynn passed away peacefully at her cherished ranch in Hurricane Mills, surrounded by the love of her family. She was 90 years old. The news of her passing sent waves of grief and tributes through the music industry and beyond. Artists, fans, and media outlets alike honored her incredible legacy. Dolly Parton shared an emotional tribute, saying, "Loretta was like a sister to me. She paved the way for so many of us, and I will miss her dearly." Country star Carrie Underwood also reflected on Loretta's impact, posting, "She showed us how to be brave, how to be bold, and how to tell our stories with truth and heart. Thank you, Loretta." Social media was flooded with fans sharing their favorite songs, memories, and stories about Loretta's influence on their lives. Hashtags like Harinchi, "Thank you, Loretta," Chi Coal Miner's Daughter, and a Chi Queen of Country trended worldwide as fans celebrated her life and music. One fan wrote on Twitter, "Loretta Lynn didn't just sing country music, she was country music. Her songs told our stories, and her voice will live forever." News outlets dedicated entire segments to Loretta's passing, emphasizing her monumental contributions to music and culture. The New York Times described her as a trailblazer who redefined country music by centering women's voices and struggles. Meanwhile, Billboard honored her as a fearless storyteller who changed the game for women in country music. At her ranch in Hurricane Mills, fans gathered to pay their respects, leaving flowers, handwritten notes, and memorabilia at the gates. The ranch, already a beloved destination for Loretta's admirers, became a place of mourning and celebration. A longtime fan shared in a local news interview, "This place feels like a piece of Loretta. Being here is like she's still with us." Loretta's passing marked the end of an era, but her music and spirit live on. Younger artists continue to cite her as one of their greatest inspirations. Casey Musgraves reflected during a recent concert, saying, "Without Loretta, I wouldn't be here today. She taught us how to stand tall, speak our truth, and never apologize for who we are." Loretta Lynn's life was a testament to the power of perseverance, creativity, and authenticity. She didn't just break barriers in country music, she shattered them, giving a voice to women's struggles and inspiring generations of artists. While her journey was marked by immense challenges, her legacy remains a beacon of strength and artistry. From her humble beginnings in Butcher Hollow to her final days as a beloved cultural icon, Loretta's story will continue to resonate for decades to come. Thank you for joining us as we explored the dark side of Loretta Lynn's rise to fame. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories like this.